Alright, guys, we are going to talk about a virtual reality today. Let's start with the VR, AR, MR, and later in the second video, I'm probably going to talk about the 3D printing if I can finish within this video. So here's a graphic pipeline for any 3D graphic such as animation, a 3D movie, and virtual reality, or the one you can interactive scene with 3D, or gaming, always following this pipeline. So basically first, the 3D modeler need to creating 3D model. That's the first step. And then the 3D model will give some sensors to be interactive with or creating animation with them, and then having the scene. And then the next step is texturing, which giving some different color clothes, a different texture of surface, plastic, different materials, type of shading. And then the last step is rendering on the graphic card most of the time. So we're going to come back to this later and to repeat where each graphic products is going to go. So first let's talk about virtual reality. So what is virtual reality? It's really using computer technology to create a 3D scene or 3D objects so user can manipulate, examine, and navigate the 3D scene like we are in the real world, because in the real world we are 3D world. And so far, our website, most of them are still 2D based, text-based, graphic-based movie, but only part we see the 3D a lot is gaming entertainment, which exists for human interaction with the scene. So user can put the head-mounted display to be immersed with the scene and interactive with it. You can create a virtual reality scene, but you don't have head-mounted display. You're just watching that as a 3D web, but you may not feel like you are in the real 3D world. And in the 3D virtual reality, you can use more than like the positioning, but also the other sensors to interact with the scene, such as hearing. You can do a steering hearing, and vision, of course, and touching. Like you can create a feedback when you play with 3D games, and you head-mounted display may give you some hiccup, like a feedback to your hands. So that type of things. You can have other sensors, smell even. So this is one of the examples we are being used in the U.S. Army to train and testing the new model of the weapon, to testing the prototype. So that's one of the example. So instead of creating that product, you first interactive the weapon with the prototype, so you can do a basic testing to see if there is any interfere, and is it easy to use. Okay, this is a simulation for driving. So that's probably the future driving, um, training will be. Instead of driving on the real road, you're going to have a lot of different scenes. So to creating that, a lot of scenarios have been putting in the 3D world to simulate the real situation of driver on the road. So that is one of the application using VR to train the drivers and using VR to train the student in the medical school for different organs surgeries. All of those are available. So this is actually is the 3D VR camera capture the pictures from the space, and it's actually similar camera with Dragon, the one just launched yesterday. I mean 2 days ago. They're using. I'm going to move this to here. That's the so we can see you can interactive with the image. It's not image. It's a lot of image from different directions. So you can most of the times you have the video. You can only play, but you cannot interactive. But this VR scene you can interactive. Okay, so that's a different. It has 360 directions building the model. All right, let's move on to, if you click here, it's not going to give you the interaction, so that's why I go, oops, keep going, All right, so the next topic we're going to talk is augmented reality. So what augmented reality different with VR is, augmented reality is a VR layer actually on top of the real environment. Basically, for example, here you can see this person is holding a iPad but is shooting to the blueprint of a floor plan. And then if you have a 3D model already and you define a marker in the paper, and once the marker being active to the software, and then you can bring the 3D model into the scene. So basically the blueprint is still there, and then the model is on top of that. So this can be used very handy for those people having interior design or the architect in other field as well. I bought my daughter a book for augmented reality, and she can bring the picture of an animal in live and then look at them and learn the feature of those different animals. And it's cheap as well. I just got it from Walmart and for $15, and it have the phone holders have mouse display just like the Google Cardboard, so you can hold your phone and then you can look the objects is rotating in 3D. So it has been used in a lot of different applications. So this is one example of if you trying to buy a chair and you are not sure about if the chair is going to fit to your room in that particular corner you want to put them. So you download the chair's 3D model, and you can use augmented realities actually bring the model here to the corner and to see if that fits to the environment. You don't have to buy, you can buy the 3D model first. You can download 3D model first. So that impacted the industry of probably going to support a lot of personalization of your customer service in the future. So the pipeline would be like this. For furniture design, the manufacturer will going to, while they design the 3D object, produce that, then they have the 3D file. So they're going to share it on their website or like a store, like IKEA or something. So, and that's have a more customer. And then once the 3D model been downloaded by the customer, and then customer can decided what kind of colors they can interact with the model, what kind of colors, what kind of size, what the size is as fits to here, and then send it back to the manufacturer and give the customized file to them, and then they build based on the files the customer needs. So within that pipeline, we may see in the future the sharing is one of the part which is being talked in the book. Sharing is one of the important tools and channels for the personalized and customer service experience in the future. So mixed reality is really a merge of real world and virtual world. So the user can interact with the virtual world, and the reaction could be on the real world. So it's a hybrid of virtual reality and augmented reality, and the interaction from physical world and the virtual world will happen. So one of the example is multiple locations doctor working on one patient. Hopefully it's not hard, but the doctor from different place, different country of the world, then they speak different language. However, the software can real-time translating their language into a common language, and then they can talk to each other in real time, and they can also interact with the patient at the same time. So basically, it's a layer of virtual reality will be on top of the real patient, and to identify what the problem is and what the reaction need to made. And the next example is, oops. Oh, okay. Let me see. Next example is the mixed reality example. Actually, is how then enhance their customer service with the Microsoft HoloLens. What happened is this guy, he is trying to control and manipulate the machine, and he have a glass with the software interface, the virtual interface, which have the menu, is a layer of menu on top of the real physical machine. And then he can manipulate with the menu, and the machine will react. For example, like click on open, and then the door of the machine will open. So that's reaction from the physical world to the virtual world. So what happened is there is a sensor from the machine itself and receive the command of open the door, and the guy actually looking at open the door and click on that. And the virtual machine is actually the signal being sending to the command, and then the door is open. So you probably heard about XR, on top recent years, on top of the AR, VR, and MR. So what is XR really?